Imagine this: an unstoppable army, led by a powerful ruler and marching with enormous elephants, sets out to destroy the most sacred sanctuary in Arabia. The people of the city are terrified, knowing they have no weapons to defend themselves against such a force. But then, something extraordinary happens. This mighty army is defeated, not by human hands, but by a miraculous event that no one could have foreseen. This is the story of Al-Fil, an event so astonishing that it is remembered and revered by millions to this day. What really happened? Let's uncover this mystery together. The story begins in the year 570 CE, a year known as the Year of the Elephant. During this time, a man named Abraha was the governor of Yemen. Abraha wanted to make his land the center of attention and replace the Kaaba in Mecca as the main place of pilgrimage. To achieve this, he built a grand cathedral in Yemen, hoping people would stop going to Mecca and instead visit his new structure. But things didn't go as Abraha planned. The Kaaba remained deeply loved and respected. Pilgrims continued to visit it, ignoring Abraha's cathedral. Frustrated and angry, Abraha decided to destroy the Kaaba. He believed that if the Kaaba was gone, people would have no choice but to turn to his cathedral. Abraha prepared a powerful army for this mission. It wasn't just any army. It included massive elephants, which were unknown in Arabia at that time. These elephants symbolized his strength and the fear he wanted to instill in his enemies. The sight of such a force marching toward Mecca was enough to make anyone tremble. Word spread quickly, and the people of Mecca knew they were facing a threat unlike anything they had ever seen. The leader of Mecca at the time was the grandfather of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. When Abraha's army reached the outskirts of Mecca, Prophet's grandfather went to meet Abraha. Prophet's grandfather's words were calm but filled with deep faith. He said, "The Kaaba has a Lord who will protect it." With that, the people of Mecca left the city and sought refuge in the surrounding mountains, putting their trust in Allah to protect the sacred house. As Abraha's army prepared to march into Mecca and destroy the Kaaba, something incredible happened. From the horizon, flocks of birds appeared. These birds carried small stones of baked clay in their claws and beaks. They flew above Abraha's army and began to drop the stones. What followed was absolute chaos. Each stone struck with such force that the soldiers were overwhelmed. Their formations broke apart as panic spread through their ranks. The elephants, central to Abraha's plan, suddenly refused to move forward. It was as if they sensed the divine power opposing them. Within moments, the once mighty army was in ruins. The Quran describes this event in clear and powerful words. Did he not make their plan go astray? And he sent against them birds in flocks, striking them with stones of baked clay, and made them like eaten straw. Chapter 105, The Elephant, verses 1 to 5. This miraculous event left everyone in awe. The people of Mecca, who had no way to defend themselves, witnessed how Allah protected the Kaaba. The army that had seemed invincible was completely destroyed. Abraha's ambition and arrogance had led to his downfall, showing that no power can stand against the will of Allah. The story of Al-Fil is not just a tale of divine intervention. It is filled with deep lessons. It reminds us that no matter how strong or powerful someone may seem, they are insignificant compared to Allah's power. Abraha had the largest army and the most advanced weapons of his time, yet he failed because he lacked Allah's support. On the other hand, the Meccans, who had no worldly means to protect themselves, were saved because they placed their trust in Allah. The Kaaba itself holds great significance. It is the first house of worship built for humanity, as mentioned in the Quran. Indeed, the first house of worship, established for mankind, was that at Mecca, blessed and a guidance for the worlds. Chapter 3, verse 96. The protection of the Kaaba during the event of Al-Fil symbolized Allah's plan to preserve this sacred place for future generations. Another important lesson from this story is the danger of arrogance. Abraha's pride and desire for power blinded him to the reality of his actions. He thought his strength was unstoppable, but his defeat proved otherwise. This serves as a reminder that arrogance leads to destruction, while humility and faith lead to success. For us today, the story of Al-Fil carries a powerful message. In our lives, we often face challenges that seem impossible to overcome. We might feel powerless, just as the Meccans did when they saw Abraha's army. But this story teaches us that no matter how difficult our situation may be, we should place our trust in Allah. He is the best protector and the best planner. When we rely on Him, miracles can happen. The event of Al-Fil also shows that Allah's help comes in ways we may never expect. Who would have thought that small birds with tiny stones could defeat a mighty army? This reminds us to never lose hope, even when the odds seem stacked against us. Allah's power is limitless, and His help can come from sources we cannot imagine. Reflecting on this story, we should also ask ourselves, are we living with the same trust and faith that the Meccans had? Are we relying on our own abilities, or are we placing our trust in Allah? And most importantly, are we staying humble, knowing that all success comes from Allah alone? The mystery of Al-Fil is more than just a historical event. It is a timeless reminder of Allah's greatness, the sanctity of the Kaaba, and the power of faith. As we remember this story, let us strengthen our connection with Allah and strive to live with humility, trust, and reliance on Him. In doing so, we can overcome any challenge and find peace in knowing that Allah is always by our side.